Okay. Welcome everybody to this is I think the beginning of our third annual um, sort of serving the what do we call it? Serving the Dharma Day, offering service Saturday. And so I've been asked just to talk a little bit about it and what it originated from. And first of all, though, welcome to everybody who's here. It's really is a lovely opportunity. This came into being. We were staying at my wife and I were staying at Abbey monastery, and this was about a year, I think, after they had done a visit up here, the monks and some of the lay supporters. And Beth, who works in the kitchens there and sort of is like the den mother, she just talked about how much work there was here and how hard the monastics here worked to keep everything up, and was sort of blown away by it. And so I can take no responsibility for this, but my wife Sarah seems to have a disposition where when she thinks of doing something, she actually does it. So it seems odd, but so she called up here and said, would it be useful to have one day a month during when it's seasonable and we can get around without sliding down hills on the ice, to get a group of people to come up here and just offer service, just to try to lighten the load a little bit. And I think that there was a resounding yes, that would be helpful. So we started it off, and after the first year, I was a little bit worried that actually we were causing the monastics here almost more work than if we hadn't come, because there's all the food to prepare, and there's the getting the whiteboard with the tasks on it, and getting everybody organized. But it became apparent pretty quickly that that it was useful, and that it was things were getting done, like painting buildings or setting up the garden, or and a lot of forest work that it would have been a strain, I think, just to do it without all the people who come and offer service. So that's sort of the practical background part of it. But there's I was in Thailand this year and spent the entire time with monastics in Thailand, and so to be on the other side of the generosity, because there when you're staying at monasteries, you're eating the food that's offered. You're offering service as well. But I felt very much like I was the recipient of this incredible kindness. And when I would came back and would tell people about that, there's a tendency in the West for us to look at that interaction somehow as transactional. Like people would say, well, what do the people get out of giving? And other than a sense of, a good sense of giving. And, what do the monks do? And what do the nuns do to sort of reciprocate? And through those conversations, it became really obvious to me that, and I don't know exactly how to articulate this, but there is something that happens in the giving and the receiving, that there's almost like this sacred space that's created, or that was my feeling of it. It goes way beyond a transactional, like I'll give you this and I'll get merit or something like that. It goes way beyond that. And that's the feeling that I get coming up here and offering service is it's there's all this stuff like, oh, I'm doing something worthwhile, it's a good thing to do, people appreciate it, it needs to happen. But that's come to be a really minor part. What happens on these days when we come up top for service is it's almost like I don't know, a sacred space is created. And I heard Ajahn once say, "We're not moving through time; we're moving through karma." And it it this is a place where, at least to me, I don't know if all the monastics here feel this way, but to me, it's not a place that's bound by time the way that normal things are. And when I come up here and do service, it doesn't feel like I'm spending a chunk of time doing this. It feels like I'm existing and moving through my own karma or kama in a really different way. So it's a really beautiful thing. And I want to thank you all so much for providing the space for that.